Hi, guys. There's been many times in my life when things have happened out of the blue with no warning, no knowing that anything was going to happen, and then something would happen out of the blue, and I'd have to be taken to the hospital and I would be hospitalized. I've spent many times alone by myself in the hospital, being admitted, having a room all to myself most of the time, not all of the time. But I wanted to say in this video that there was never, ever, never a moment or a thought that ever went through my mind where I felt like I was afraid, that I was afraid of anything. And four times when I was in the hospital, it was for life-threatening problems where I easily could have died. And I had no fear or worry of such a thing happening. And I wanted to tell you in this message that if you have trust in a higher power, if you believe in God, and if you truly with all your heart trust in him, you will have no fear no matter what happens to you. There is always a safety net for those that put their trust in God. It has always been that way for me, because I don't care who you are, there will come a time in your life where you may be facing a life or death situation. And it's during those moments that if God is absent and you don't trust someone like God, the fear will then be there. You won't feel that safety net. Because I know, making this video, whether if anyone believes me or not, there has never been anything that has happened in my life that didn't work out and show me that everything is all right. From a severe automobile accident to a collapsed lung to almost hemorrhaging to death, all the different things that have happened in my life. And I've escaped death so many times. I've escaped severe accidents that would have otherwise killed me. And it's like something has been watching out for me. But I've never had the fear. I remember when I was eating my supper one night and I suffered a collapsed lung at the kitchen table while I just sat down to have my supper. It struck out of the blue as quick as a heart attack. And my lung collapsed, and I was only breathing with one lung. And I remember the severe pain that traveled through my torso from the front of my body all the way to my back. And though I didn't know what was going on, I had a pretty good idea of what was happening, just because it was affecting my breathing the way that it was. So when an ambulance was called and I was rushed to the hospital and they discovered what happened to me, I then had to be transferred from the hospital I was taken to a much bigger hospital where I could be put in ICU. And by that time, it was dark out. It was night. And I remember that night taking that trip in that secondary ambulance that transported me from the original hospital that the ambulance took me to. And then I was transported out to Erie, Pennsylvania to a much bigger trauma hospital where they had an ICU room waiting for me. And I remember that ride going out there that was about 40 minutes. and being strapped down to where I could not move on the gurney in this ambulance. And the gurney was latched to the floor of the ambulance. So nothing could move. I was locked inside this ambulance. And this ambulance was driving fast down the highway. We were on the interstate. And this ambulance was doing at least 75, 80 mile an hour. We were passing big semi trucks, laying on the gurney, looking down out the back doors. There was 2 square windows in this ambulance. And I could see the trucks we were passing at night, and I could see all the cab lights on top of the truck. And we were going by them like they were standing still. And I could see the reflection of the flashing lights of the ambulance on the windshield in the front cab of the semi as we were passing them. And I knew we were going really, really fast because I was counting the clicks beneath the tires going dun 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 dun. We were really moving. And I remember the thought came into my mind instantly as I was watching this ambulance pass these semis that always drive over the speed limit. So I knew we were really moving. And I thought, and there was a young girl driving the ambulance. She was one of the paramedics that was transporting me. And then there was a male paramedic in the back of the ambulance with me, keeping an eye on my vitals. And this girl, honest to God, looked no older than 24 years old. And I was thinking, if a deer jumps out tonight in front of this ambulance while we're doing 75, 80 mile an hour, we could easily have a severe wreck. And I don't think I would survive it because I'm strapped in and I can't do anything. My arms were strapped down. I had belts going across my whole body all the way down to my ankles. And I thought I wouldn't even be able to save my own life if this ambulance were to wreck and I lived through it. And that's when life-threatening things can occur, possibly occur. What makes there be no fear is by putting all my trust in God, a higher power above, and giving it over to Him and saying, whatever will be, and trusting that God will take care of it. And He always, faithfully, always does. Always. That has always been the case. He takes care of the things that you yourself cannot control. And that's what's so beautiful about it. And that's what makes fear absent. That's what makes anxiety absent. I didn't even think about what would happen to me once I arrived at the hospital. What would they do to me? What was I going to experience and go through? None of that ever even crossed my mind, not for a second. I never even thought about the hospital I was going to. It's just completely letting go and just saying whatever will be, and accepting that and trusting God and letting Him handle it in its entirety. That's why anytime I've ever been in the hospital and been on my own, all by myself, no visitors, no friends, no family, nobody coming to see me, it's just me. This has happened every time I've been in the hospital. And though I may feel like I'm physically alone, there's no one else around me, no one to visit me. Most of the time, nobody even knows I'm there whenever I'm taken to a hospital and admitted. But I always feel like I'm not alone spiritually. And I know that I'm not. And that's why I don't have any fear or anxiety about what may happen. Whether if it's something the hospital's going to do to me or if something's going to happen to me to where I may pass away. I just don't have any fear because I trust in that higher power that created me and knows what I'm going through. And when I put my trust in that, it gives me the most calmest feeling that is indescribable. So my message in this video is that whatever you're going through in your life, maybe it's not medical, maybe it's financial, maybe it's a relationship, who knows? It doesn't matter what the circumstance is that if you put your trust in God, you can guarantee, you can absolutely guarantee that whatever the problem is you're facing, it will work out. It will get resolved, and you're going to be just fine. Just like here I am. I'm fine after all the times I've gone through hospitals and been admitted and had horrific things happen to me. I'm still here and everything is all right. And it will be for you too, as long as you put your trust in our Creator, because He's got you like no one else can have you. And that safety net will always be there for you, no matter what problem this world can throw at you. You will always have that safety net. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye.